Hey guys, welcome. This is Mark, Crypto Boy in Oz. It is, what day is it? Saturday the 24th of July. And it's a good day. It's a good day. And I'm kind of gutted in one sense because I actually tried to trade yesterday and pulled a little bit of little bit of money out into stable coins, and set some buy limits, and it never got them. It never got them. It actually dropped down, and I missed out on all. I set 5 buy limits for different coins, and not one of them got triggered, and the price actually went up. So now I'm waiting patiently now for it to um, hopefully retest maybe tomorrow and come back down again. Sometimes it makes you wonder, is it worth it? Is it better just to buy and hold? And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, but then every now and then when you get that gem where you get that you go into stable coins just at the right time, and you set a buy order and you fill it and you make like 10% or whatever, 10-15%. It's a sweet feeling. It's just when you kind of don't get it, and you might have to buy in a little bit higher, and you just lose a percentage of your coins. Um, Not a good feeling. So that's why I'm just holding off, because I'm kind of expecting over maybe today or tomorrow for the price to reverse back. I mean, at the minute, Bitcoin's booming. I mean, this is like slow, steady growth, which is good. Like when you look at when you look at it now, and it's gone up, and it finished above on the daily candle. It finished above this small trend line here, what it had set. It finished above that, and then the next day it finished above the previous candle. Yesterday it finished above again, and now we're on the daily, and it's still looking green. It's still looking positive. The main thing is it finished above this trend line. It broke through. It broke through, went up higher. It's kind of. I mean, I'll be thinking a little bit different if we carry on going up, and we finish on a daily above, say, 34,500, because that's finishing higher than like a previous low there. And then we're back on track. I think it could be onward and upward. But one thing that you've got to notice when you're looking at all of this and you're looking at this bullishness going up, the one thing that I am seeing that isn't bullish at all is the volume. The volume is tiny. And what I've said before, if you look here, right, that big candle, not a lot of volume really. Like, in reality, there's not much volume there. I mean, you go back to the 26th and the 27th of June, and if you look at that candle, it went from 32.4 up to 34.7. So it went up over $2,000. And if you look at this candle here, which we had, went from 29.5 and it peaked up to 32.8. So that went up a little bit more, but look at the difference in the volume. Like, I'd say it's 3 times as much volume. So the volume's tiny. And again, it went up yesterday. It went up the day before, and then yesterday, and no volume at all, like nothing. And like now, it's kind of breaking even at the minute today than what it was yesterday, what it closed on yesterday. But without the volume, it's kind of worrying, because it won't take much, and I'm expecting some big whale or a group of whales, because they're all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots. I'm pretty sure that they're banking on people going long on Bitcoin, thinking it's going to go up. And if you look at Bitcoin longs, not actually looked at it, but it's steadily going up. And I'm just going to jump on the 4 hour just to see a more I mean, it's been going sideways really for quite a while. Back to the daily. Yeah, so I mean, people are betting long, but there's no major. It's not like here. It's not like back in May where you had these major longs. I don't think you're getting probably as many people leveraging at the minute because they're probably still tending to the wounds from losing big on a lot of these. I mean, I'm not a fan of either, to be honest. I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, a lot of people are banking on it dropping, but at the minute it's still going up. And I don't know, what do you think it's going to do? What do you think? Like, I've just not got loads of confidence. So I took some money out. I mean, I wish that I kept it in for another 12 hours. Maybe took it out now, but I'd have been looking at taking some profits now just because of where we're at, because we've had quite a good run going up. Hang on. Let me bring this in. Just charting a bit. I mean, if you look where we're at, I mean, we've beat. See, I pulled out around there. I thought we were actually going to bounce off here, and then drop back down again. But we didn't. We had a day where we like the 23rd yesterday. We really rallied up, and I kind of part way up there. I pulled some out. So kind of wishing I didn't, but then I am expecting a reversal. And if we do, then you're looking probably at Bitcoin retesting around 31.5, around there. Again, I ain't a trader. It's just my opinion. I've just been learning as I go. And I mean, if we just look at the heat maps, it's a good day. And what I tend to like is as well, when you've only got these small percentage gains, it's more healthy. Like if you suddenly get like a 30% gains, they're not going to last. They're going to retest. Whereas when you're getting slow gains, like anything up to 5%, it's just steady growth, and it's just natural, organic movement in the market that isn't influenced by any massive sell-offs or massive purchases. It's just steady increase, and I think it's just consumer confidence just coming back into the market, dipping the toes, seeing what's what. And because there's not a lot of volume, so these percentage increases, it's not massive amounts of money that's coming in. It's small amounts, which suggests to me it's all retail. And what scares me is, like, there's so many retail investors which get like frightened when the price dumps, and you can only do it so many times, and it's going to put a lot of people off. So I just wish that I'm hoping this doesn't drop in a way. I mean, I know it'll retest because it's gone up too much. So it's 100%. Because if you look at all past green candles, any of them, like either like went up massive and it corrected more or less all the way. Same again, went up massive, it corrected and went even lower. And they all go up, but then they all retrace. They all up, retrace. Now I know this is like a downwards wedge. So at the minute, it's like it's kind of broke the trend, if you will, because you're getting higher highs now compared to like this one here, or higher lows, I should say. So yeah, it's looking pretty positive, and as soon as it retests, I'll be buying back in. So I'll keep an eye on the prices, because my order limits I've set. My buy orders I've set. I don't want to miss them again, because obviously if we do retest and then we break out again, then that's a bullish sign that we're going to go even higher, and then you might not get that kind of buyback at the kind of level that you wanted at. So again, I'll just be careful. And to be honest, I wonder sometimes, is it worth trading? And more often than not, it's probably not. I mean, if I'd have actually just kept everything I had from day one, which basically all I held was Cardano, I'd probably be. Oh, sorry, no, this is sorry, confusing myself there. I'm only trading with my super portfolio. My personal portfolio, which is what I had in Cardano, I've now distributed it into all my different altcoins, what I'm happy with, and they're all staked. And it's the best thing I did. It is seriously the best thing I did. If you're not staking altcoins, you're just missing out. And if you don't feel confident, like a lot of people might have just got into crypto and they might be using, I mean, if you're in Australia, you might be using CoinSpot or SwiftX, or Binance. And you kind of feel you've got this security because even though the coins aren't really 100% yours because you've not got the keys, you've not got the private keys, they're pretty darn secure, and chances are it's highly unlikely that you're going to lose your investment. So it's still a pretty safe way to go. But the downside is when you've got all your coins on these exchanges, you're losing out on interest. I mean, if you think you can get, on average, you can get a minimum of 8% interest on all your coins. Some of them you can get way more. And this is just staking. Like, I'm not talking about providing liquidity to pools where you've got a chance of impermeable loss by staking two together. I'm just talking about basically staking your coins and just one coin and getting 8%. I mean, I think with I stake Kusama on Binance, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting like, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like 13% interest, which is unreal. And then on Nexo, I'm getting 8%. On Celsius, I'm getting 7%. And it just takes temptation away. So I'm pretty much all for it, to be honest. Especially if you're like me and you kind of, you're always wanting to look at other coins that you can be getting into. And I've kind of learned, and I tend to only invest in more coins from new money. So I've got a Bitcoin miner actually that I've sold it twice. The first time the guy didn't pay. The first time the guy didn't pay because the market crashed. And then I sold it again for slightly less. And I sent it via Sendle, the couriers, and they've actually lost it. So at the minute I've just got a claim in. So I'm hoping once that claim comes in, I'm actually excited because I'll get back what I sold it for. And I'm just going to buy some, obviously, straight into crypto again, buy some more crypto. So I'm going to wait for the dip. And I think I'm going to, at the minute, I mean, there's a lot of coins in the gaming section, like gaming projects that are doing really well, but I'm still convicted to the Cardano ecosystem. So I'll probably buy some more Giro, and I'm going to invest in some more Charlie 3. Just because I'll just see big things coming from it in like 4 years from now. I want to see what I'm trying to do is if you're buying, let's have a coin market cap. So like all these are safe bets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Cardano, XRP. I suppose has got a bit more of upside to it just because when the SEC lawsuit finishes and if they win, this could go through the roof. Because if you look at the price suppression, really, it's only gone up 150% over to what last like year to date. But if you look at like BNB, Cardano, Dogecoin, I mean Dogecoin is not really comparable, but like Uniswap, and don't forget the prices have really retraced and come down again. It's not like they're anywhere near their all-time highs. But if you look at all these top coins, the simplest way of looking at what kind of returns they're going to give you is looking at the market caps. So if you think like Uniswap has got a $10 billion market cap. So for that to 10x, the market cap's got to be 100 billion. Well, if you're looking at the minute, like BNB is only 50 billion. So it's got to be double what BNB is. And eventually they probably will 10x. But 10x, think about it. If you invest $10,000 and all your investments are in, like say, Bitcoin. Well, if all your investments are in the top 10 or top 20, even the top 20 are bloody good ones to be in, and even further down the list than that. But if you kind of say they're all good at 10x, which they will, like Bitcoin will be worth over $300,000. It will be worth over $300,000 in all likelihood in the next 1 to 2 cycles, somewhere in between there. It will. It's inevitable. Like the halving dictate the halving and the demand dictates that the price goes to go up, because obviously the electricity costs, the cost involved into mine it, and then the demand by the halving, it's got to be. So it there's no doubt it's going to be worth $300,000+. But what I'm getting at, if you invest 10 grand, that's only giving you a return of 100 grand, regardless of what coin you've got. It doesn't matter. It does not matter which you've got. And you look at Cardano and you think, oh, it's only $1. It's easy to get to $10. It is going to get to $10. And that'll give it a market cap of like, what is it now? 38 billion. So that'll give it a market cap of 380 billion. But it's a long time off. It isn't going to be happening anytime soon, because that would be, there isn't enough money actually coming into crypto at the minute. Now that's going to change. It's all going to change as more countries adopt it, as more countries start creating Bitcoin ETFs. So it allows institutions and hedge funds, pension funds, it allows them to invest in Bitcoin indirectly, because it could be a long time off before all this red tape is kind of broken. People and all these big institutions and hedge funds can invest freely in crypto. At the minute, it's easy for them to invest in ETFs and shares in Bitcoin or Bitcoin related companies. And that's another thing where obviously companies that can't, institutions, hedge funds that can't actually invest directly in crypto, and even they might struggle to be allowed to invest in like GBTC, for instance. Some of them aren't even allowed to invest in that. There's too much red tape. So there is companies investing in crypto related companies, so like mining companies. I think, in fact, I'll just jump to this story. So this is, I think this is New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey pension invests $7 million in Bitcoin mining stocks last quarter. So this is because they can't invest in what they truly want to do. The red tape around it. They can't just go out and buy Bitcoin. So they're hedging the bets. So the state-managed pension ended June with 3.66 million in Riot blockchain and 3.39 million in Marathon Digital Holdings. The New Jersey's Common Pension Fund D has 30 billion in total assets from state employees. So this is the state. This is the state hedge fund for state employees. So the allocation appears to be New Jersey's first in the crypto sector. Other state-run pension schemes have also warned that Bitcoin mining stocks in recent months, most notably California's. So this is like, it's not a big article, but it's just pointing out that obviously people that can't, companies, institutions, hedge funds, pension funds that can't invest in Bitcoin, maybe not in GBTC, but if they invest in mining firms, they're indirectly investing in Bitcoin, because as Bitcoin goes up, the stock is going to go up. So they're hedging the bets until they can get to a point where they're allowed to invest in GBTC or Bitcoin ETFs when they actually come around. I'm sure GBTC is going to be aiming to move over to that as soon as it possibly can. Like it's got to be. So my point is, anyway, investing in the top coins, it's a safe bet. You're going to outperform any other investment long term. Like, there's no doubt Bitcoin's going to be $350,000 4 years, 8 years. Ethereum, there's no doubt Ethereum is going to be $20,000. Ethereum might go up exponentially more than Bitcoin just because the new EIP 1559 that's coming in and ETH2, where it's all deflationary because they're burning ETH per transaction. Ethereum, as it gets more popular, more transactions, more burns, it's going to be more deflationary. So Ethereum could go up even more. But again, Ethereum, $20,000 next 4 to 8 years. You know it is. BNB, $3,000. Cardano, $10. XRP, $10. These are all going to achieve 10x's. But if you've only got 10 grand to invest, 100 grand, okay, it's amazing. Is it life changing? Possibly if you live in an underdeveloped country. But I think if you live in a European country, if you live in North America, Canada, the UK, Australia, basically, if you live in a Western type country, a developed country, 10x on 10 grand isn't life changing. Okay, it's good. But if you want life changing wealth, or as Rand says, wife changing wealth, then you've got to start you've got to start being a bit of a degen, and you've got to start looking for those hidden gems. And I'm not going to talk about, obviously, what I always talk about, what I believe in. You've got to start looking. You've got to start looking for yourself, because I don't want to push what I believe in, because that's my opinion and the research that I've done. And then the more you kind of find yourself in favor with one particular coin, then the more you kind of just see positive spin, because once you kind of accept and tell yourself that, okay, this is the one for me, you start putting money into it, you kind of get blinkered by the positive and don't see negative. I'm not saying there's negative with anything that I invest in. I think crypto in general, the negative thing is the uncertainty of the future and how long it's going to take before everything starts to obviously increase in value. But you've got to do your own due diligence and just look for the hidden gems. Like if you think now, like Axie Infinity, the gaming sector, which is a new sector, to be honest. I mean, originally it was like your DeFi, which was going mental. Then NFTs have started going mental, and in all respects they still are. But the gaming sector now is the one that's kind of really taking off, because people are seeing obviously the value of what this can do and how this can change people's lives by playing games and actually getting paid to do so. So yeah, just do your due diligence and kind of come to the understanding that if you want to 100x a lot of these coins, you're probably looking at 10 plus years, which, if this is a retirement plan, probably isn't that bad. But if you want to do it quicker, if you want to be a millionaire, and don't get me wrong, there's no point being too there's no point like being too humbled and saying I don't want to be a millionaire, because you're kind of kidding yourself. Like, everybody would love to be a millionaire. You might not want to label it as that. You might want to be a bit more humbled and label it as just being well off, or you've no money worries. But at the end of the day, everybody would love to see 6 zeros or 6 decimal places. Yeah, 6 zeros in the bank balance. It's just some people would go out and buy a Ferrari or a Lambo, where other people would be quite modest and just be quite happy with just keeping the stable coins or the crypto, and not necessarily go crazy, maybe pay your house off, but obviously not broadcast it to the world. But yeah, if you want life or life changing wealth, then really you've got to start looking at you've got to start being a DJ, and you've got to start looking at those untapped coins, what you find, not what other people are finding. Because what you've got to understand is once people start being really bullish on coins, and it's like people like BitBoy or Ran, Crypto Man Ran, when these guys are talking about these coins, they've already invested in them, and the chances are they've already gone to the moon. And they might be low cap, and you might think, oh, they were only like $1, but like chances are when they got in, or when they started getting in, they were an awful lot less, especially if they've been getting IDO, if they've got allocation to IDOs. You've picked them up for nothing. So I'm not saying you can't make life-changing wealth from a coin that you don't get in an IDO, because you can. But you need to find ones that have got like a low market cap. And by low market cap, I'm kind of looking at under I'd say $200 million. Because if you just look at the top, and don't forget this has changed a lot, because obviously we've had a massive price correction. But if you look, I'm trying to get to $1 billion. So you've got the top 70 coins are over $1 billion market cap. So for them to 10x, they've got to go to 10 billion. You get one at 200 million. 10x is only 2 billion. And if you find them even less, you start finding coins that have maybe got I don't know. Let's have a look. 5. We'll just scroll down. So now I'm at like 50 million market cap. So when you start looking at like these, like if you look at Rarible, Rarible's up 400%. So that's already rocketed in the last 12 months or so. But it's 45 million. So 10x is only 450 million. 100x is 4.5 billion. But if you get what I'm saying, like now there's plenty coins that are 4.5 billion. So for this to 100x, it's easily possible. It's easily achievable. And it might not be in the next couple of years, but in 4 to 8 years, 1 to 2 cycles from now, could this be $1,000 coin? Could be. I mean, I've not looked into the project, and there's loads of them about. There's loads. So it's just doing your own due diligence, doing your own research, checking out the Telegram groups, obviously the websites, the Medium accounts, all the socials, everything that they've got, and then forming your own opinion based on that, and where you see the market going, and perhaps, and like especially the niche that they're in. So if they're doing NFTs, if they're into gaming, if they're into DeFi, if they're like big on staking and like liquidity pools, if the new blockchains that are coming, there's so many different use cases of all these coins. So it's just a case of doing your research, and if you do see any, I mean, obviously you've got to get an idea from somewhere. So you might be looking at Charlie 3, you might be looking at Giro, you might have seen someone else talking about Mantra DAO, which is obviously they're massive. Saffron Finance, you might be some of the YouTube guys that you watch. sometimes they'll tell you about hidden gems that they found, and they might genuinely be hidden gems. They might have just invested in it as they're telling you about it. Um, but that's how you find them. You find them through watching your favorite YouTube gurus and them telling you what they've found. But then once you've kind of got that information from them, then do your own due diligence. Then look into them, like look into the use cases, look at the founders, what background they come from, um, the developers as well, and the community. Like the community is the big one. Do all this due diligence, and if you do, and you come to a decision that it's something that you want to invest in, don't go mad. Like, don't just put all your eggs in one basket. So if you've got a 10 grand budget, you can't be thinking, right, okay, I'm going to put my 10 grand in. I'm going to put my 10 grand into Cumrocket, because it's got a $35 million market cap and it looks good, and you look at it and you think it has got some use case, and you think it has got good founders. I don't know if it does or not. The name suggests otherwise, but if it does, you don't say, "Oh, I'm going to put 10 grand in this," because you don't want to get a rug pulled. You don't want to be subject to the actual project going bust. And when I say bust, I don't necessarily mean it'll disappear and nothing will happen with it, but I mean, you've got to remember what you've got to take into account. It's got a $35 million market cap. Let's say we're going to a complete bear market and everything crashes. Everything's already crashed, but everything crashes even more. The Cumrocket goes from 2 cents to, I don't know, 0.02 cents. Goes down 10%, goes down 100%. It might go down 10%, could go down 50%. What I'm saying is, if it goes down and we're going through a prolonged bear market, and there isn't much money in the kitty, because obviously these guys, they have a pool which is for to pay devs, and they've got expenses like all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. If they're a genuine project and they're working on something, they need developers, and the developers get paid, and there has to be money in the kitty to pay these people. So if there's no money in the kitty, that means the developers are going to go elsewhere, which means the project is just stagnant. Nothing's happening to it. And if that happens, then you get more people selling coins, because people obviously don't want to keep the money in a dying project. And if it's already a bear market and people start pulling out, you end up finding that there's no liquidity left, so you can't even take your money out when you want to do. And there's nothing being done. And that'll stay like that until the bull market starts again and people start speculating. So don't put too much money into these projects. Like for me, for instance, I've just put money in Hex. A lot of people think it's a scam. A lot of people think it's a really good project. The jury's out. What your opinion is doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What other people's opinion to yourself doesn't matter. It's your opinion that matters. So for me, I put $500 in, and that was I researched Hex. I looked into it, and to me, it seems like everything's going to go up in price, and as people stake, people get out. But as people get out, people are staking. So, but regardless of what's happening with Hex, I just looked at it and think, okay, it looks like it's pretty positive. It might have a little bit of worrying signs to it, but have I accepted that I can afford to lose $500? And I have. And maybe it's a little bit of a gamble, but it's $500, and that's where you've got to look at it. Now, Hex, probably, to be honest, is more of a gamble than other projects I've invested in. But that's just an example. But what I'm saying is just invest. I'm not saying invest what you can afford to lose, because that's pretty much what investing is for a lot of people. You don't want to start investing when your money's on credit cards. Like, you actually want the cash. You physically want the cash. You want to be able to invest money that you've not borrowed from somebody else. But invest in something where you're happy if it doesn't go anywhere, if it stays put, if it only goes up 5%, if it only goes up 10%. over a short period. If you're happy for it to only go up like 500%, which is 5x, if you're happy for that to only go up that amount over, I don't know, 4 years or so, then that's fine. But if you want to start investing and making like big gains, then it's these smaller projects where you're going to get them from. But just be careful what you invest in. So don't go mad. I mean, I'd still speculate with like probably 10-20% of my overall portfolio, and I'd put 70-80% in your top 100, like, well, your top coins, so like your top 20, or your top 30, depending on what you're looking at, like your Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, BNB, Chainlink, Theta, Rune. Like, these aren't going anywhere. XRP, I think that the XRP is one that probably could really shoot up in price once the SEC finishes its lawsuit. Uniswap, Solana, Matic. Yeah, so I'd still stick to them for my main ones to get long-term growth, and make like 10x over the next 4 years, maybe 20-30x over the next 8 years with a second cycle. But then keep that bit of portfolio where that's more speculative, and that can give you 100x gains and give you life-changing wealth. And long-term, don't get me wrong, long-term, like pension kind of periods where, say if you're in your 40s and you want to retire when you're in your like 50, 55, these like top coins can give you life-changing wealth. I seriously believe that if you invested in any of them, $10,000, I seriously believe that could easily be $1 million in 3 to 5 cycles. And time will tell. I could be completely wrong, but anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and I didn't bore you too much, I mean, I'm trying to keep them down now, so it's like 37 minutes. I hope I've not wasted 37 minutes of your life. I hope you've got some good content out of it, and I hope you appreciate it, because it's not like I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I just want to share the knowledge that I have on a perspective where I ain't a millionaire. I ain't shilling stuff. I'm just an average guy that's got an average investment that still works for a living, and I just want to document what I do and the stuff that I learn. I just want to not teach you, but the stuff that I learn, I want to share it with you. And if you've got like a small investment, we're in it together. We're going to grow together. So after this cycle, we'll see where we're at. After the next cycle, we'll see where we are. I'll still be here. I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to be doing content. The aim is every day, but every day might not happen, because some days I'm shattered, like physically and mentally, and it's hard work. So we'll see what happens, but I'll do content as often as I can. So if that's every day, every second day, every third day, I'll always do content. I'll always be here for you guys. If you want to share anything with me, drop some comments in the video. Go on the discussion on my YouTube channel. I have got a Twitter and Instagram. I don't do an awful lot with it, just purely because I don't have the time. This is time consuming enough, and then I've got to obviously produce the thumbnail for it, and it all takes time. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. 27 subs still, so hope you guys are enjoying the content and you watch me regularly. As I always say, invest well. I won't go over what that means because I've said it in previous videos, but please, please, please invest well. Remember, there's a crypto boy in every single one of you. I truly believe it. I truly, truly do. Until next time.